Mungu twaomba uilinde Jumuiya Afrika Mashariki.
Madam Executive Director, we are greatly honored to have you on this function. We are thankful and we are honored that you have come. We don't take it for granted. We don't just look at it as another function, because in your individual capacity and the backup of your office that you carry, it is great to have the crown of the entire city here with us. At first we thought banange, and people said A, B, C, D, but she's here. Can't you see her? Mukubengalo banange, eh? One time I was asked that, do you want to go to visit the president, or do you want the president to come and visit you? What would you take? Because if you go there to visit and you come back kukalo and try to explain, and people will not believe. Na iye wasitu kanaje uo nga executive director wasitu seva nange tuongere ngalo. We don't have any other, explanation. You can't elucidate much. He's right here. Even the pictures will tell. Thank you so much for coming, Madam Executive Director of Kampala. Madam Executive Director, I just want to give you a cross-section of some of the people that are here. And first on the list, I will call the guild presidents. Guild presidents muyimirireko. Those are guild presidents from their respective institutions. This is University of Kisubi, next, Medicare, and Kampala Polytechnic. Muvakubireko mungalo. However, they came with some members from their guilds and from their universities. All of them also stand. Let's appreciate them, and some others are there. Thank you so much from the institutions for coming. Let's sit down. Then we have members of the National Youth Council. I'll begin division by division. Let me begin with the Central. National Youth Council, Central. Can you stand up, please? National Youth Council, Central. Central Division, even the other one putting up their hands right there. These are youths from elected from the National Youth Council to run the activities of the National Youth Council in Central Division. National Youth Council, Nakawa. Banai tubawe ngalo abe Nakawa babo bazze mu bungi nnyo. Thank you for coming, Nakawa. And you are the chairperson. Mr. Alex is the chairperson for Nakawa. Chairperson for Central, where is she? She's right there, chairperson for Central. NYC Kawempe. Kawempe, they were telling me that I should be saying Kawempe Republic. And I said, isn't that a bit sacrilegious? Kawempe. Thank you so much, Kawempe. Where is the chairperson, Kawempe? He's right here. Can you wave at the ED? Mr. Michael, chairperson Kawempe. Let's go to Rubaga. NYC Rubaga. Rubaga. Chairperson Rubaga wali Mr. Mutabazi. Okay. She's standing in for Mr. Mutabazi. And finally, Makindia. Makindia, where are you? Wimirireko. That is National Youth Council, Makindia. And the chairperson, where is he? He's coming. Thank you so much. So, that is a cross-section of the National Youth Council, at least those who are present. Then we have representatives from Recess. Recess means rise investors, save easily and serve importantly. Gentlemen from Recess, thank you also for coming. Then we have representatives from the Institute of National Transformation. We have Mr. Philip Sayuni here from the Institute of National Transformation. Then we have representatives from the Assistant Ward Administrators of the city. Muyimireko banange. Babo bazze. Thank you also for coming. Do you have a head of Oyo, your commander? Mwebale nnyo kujja. Uli. Thank you so much for coming. Madam Executive Director, we are grateful and thankful again to God that He has enabled you to be here today. Thank you again for coming. Today we are here at event number 6 of the Embrace East Africa project. And event number 6, as you see, is so far the biggest of all events we have done since last year. We began in a very small way, about 8 people, but now we are in hundreds. We would, yes, appreciate. We would want to be bigger, but it's one step at a time. Somebody told me, actually my brother is the one who told me, you only bite what you can chew. Otherwise, if you bite something bigger, you might get choked. So this is event number 6 of Embrace East Africa. A bit about Embrace East Africa. Embrace is a movement, a program, a project that we are carrying out to help people get envisioned beyond their localities of tribe and language and even nation into a regional vision. And now that government is helping us to break down those walls of division and the borders and the boundaries, we need to be thinking ahead and knowing that a time will come when we have to go regional. So we have brought together young people to envision them beyond those setups so that they can think beyond, and we take the message of transformation to the entire region. So today, we brought them here from the different sectors of the city. And since you are at the helm of leadership in this city, there was no better person to come and cement this message and grace this occasion, and being also located in the city. And these are people from the city Madam Executive Director, you were the right person that needed to take this and help us launch at least the Kampala chapter. I will not go into the details of the message of the East African pillars and policies. The brief of it is that the EAC is encouraging free movement of people throughout the 7 nations, free movement of goods throughout the 7 nations, bringing about a one currency in all the 7 nations, and finally pushing the 7 nations towards a political integration and federation. That is the brief of the 4 pillars of the EAC. However, as much as government and the governments of the 7 nations have done whatever they have done, there has been little awareness among the masses and among the public. This move began many years ago with the political fathers Milton Obote, Jomo Kenyatta, and Julius Nyerere. However, they did not live to see it fulfilled. Yes, right now we have our fathers again, like Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who have fanned the flames and pushed the agenda. However, they may not also be around to see the dream fulfilled. So we are bringing the young people on board to cause an awareness and a mindset change in their minds that, hey guys, your fathers began this. Please take up the baton, take up the mantle and push the agenda to its fulfillment. I was reminding the people here that about in the late 1920s and the early 1930s, there was a movement which was called the East African Movement. It was a spiritual movement which brought about songs like Tukutendereza. It began in the 1930s, that is about 80 years ago, when none of us probably was here. However, that movement moved, I was doing my research, it went into the current 7 nations of East Africa. That is Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, Congo, Tanzania, Sudan, and Kenya. The current 7 nations. And to date, we still sing Tukutendereza. To date, we still tap into what I would call the grace of those people who began it. Are you there? Tukutendereza. Mulokozi. 1930. You can still feel the flavor, the kawowo of the songs of the movement which began 80 years ago. Kati naffe abooluganda tuzze wano tuzimbire ku kyabo abaatusooka tukitambuze tukitwale mu maaso. However, Madam Guest of Honor, the Executive Director for Kampala, theirs was a spiritual one. For us, we have to add on the spiritual an ideological edge, ideological political edge, as well as a social economic transformation edge as we take this. When the Executive Director came in, we were going into a session of Q&A, especially as relates to what Recesses spoke, what Sayuni spoke, and what Malcolm spoke. Remember those 3 facets, the 3-pronged attack of the entire region. And I think Hope had already told you that if you have questions, that will be the next. So, as the Executive Director continues to acclimatize to this environment, and to delve deeper into what we are involved in, before she speaks, let us do that Q&A, and then she will come and speak. Tuko pamoja? Amen.
Our dear Executive Director, Madam Dorothy Kisaka, my Chairperson, District National Youth Council, Madam Logose Anna Gertrude, and all members present, good afternoon. Once again, my name is Salim Kabunga. I'm the Youth Chairperson, Kavua Parish, Lubaga Division. I recognize in absentia my Chairperson, Daniel Mutawazi, who is soon joining us. When I reached here, I was so overwhelmed by the previous speakers and what I found tagged, that is Embrace East Africa. And when I actually saw the ED come in, who actually has a true definition of mindset change, hidden into her slogan of smart city that begins with the mind, I felt so much touched. So I want to first and foremost thank the organizers for such a concern. This is a very big vision, Embrace East Africa, a big one. It is a very big vision, and it is to live for years and years. Very many scholars have said even we may not see it in the next 100 or 1,000 years, but it will be there. So I only request that it is branded to fit the current youth who has a vision. I request that it is branded in a way that defines the mindset change.
My issue is that I've not understood what Embrace East Africa is about. Because when you come, you're using a lot of big words. Don't assume that all of us have reached a level of education that we are going to understand the acronyms you're talking about. If I come according to my commerce and economics, I will come and look at that and I will imagine that the central governments are the ones to deal with bilateral relationships and access to commerce. Now, as a youth, how am I going to come into this? You're all talking about mindset, entrepreneurship. Which aspect of mindset are you looking at? Because now, at what percentage have these central governments looked at the integration of these East African communities? And as the youth, how are we coming in? You're not talking of the tools. And me, this is the first time to hear about Embrace, but I don't know the vision, I don't know the goals. All those acronyms are things we don't understand. So if you can put it in a language whereby look at us as lame people and we are not going to understand them, use the simplest language for us to understand. Because according to the previous speakers, none of them was bringing out the aspect of Embrace, the one I could understand. They're all looking at entrepreneurship. I lost this. I looked at handwork. Which aspect of mindset are you talking about? Because mindset has a lot of aspects. Are you looking at mental health? Are you looking at entrepreneurship? What is Embrace about? Look at the aspect of how are we going to embrace East Africa and which tools are we going to use. You can't bring mindset when I don't even know what I'm going to do.
For the record, I'm Mariatus Karigan, a concerned youth of Uganda. I'm not satisfied to deliver my communication before ED speaking to us. But the question I want to put on is, we are talking about embracing East Africa. But before integrating East Africa, we as Ugandans, they are supposed to first harmonize the economic structures of our country. Because if we go for integration of East Africa, we as Ugandans, we might integrate and start conducting our businesses with other countries. I think all of us, we are aware that when you look at our currency, with that one of Kenya, Rwanda, TZ, Southern Sudan, they defeat us in terms of the weight of our currency. So it means when we want to come on board with such countries, instead of we benefiting from them, they will come and penetrate us, and at the end of the day, we will be the ones suffering. So we, as Ugandans, with our big people that we have in our country, we have to first capitalize on our country, using the youth that we have here, the good chance we have structures from different structures of Kampala, such that when we start integrating with those people, we be having a stable income that is going to help us to conduct our trade with other countries. I beg to submit.
Sengendo Tobias, kuva mu Youth Council, Kawempe Division. Ensonga ezisinga nziwuliriza about Embrace East Africa, mulimu free movement of goods, tulireko kuba ne one monetary unit. Kati kyembadde question yange okusingira ddala wano waliwo eri role yaffe mu kino ffe be mwayise eri ki target yammwe, what are your expectations from us ffe be mwayise wano towards this thing, preaching about what we have had here to other youths? Oh, thank you very much.
Wonderful. Kazingirizi. Ogambye nti nze nfunira wa. Si kyogambye. Kati wuliriza mbagambye nti ebintu biri bisatu bye tugenda okukola. Ekimu ku byo social economic empowerment. Kati kankubuuze mwami Kazingirizi, okola ki ewuwo in terms of supply of goods or services? Ku bibiri. Kati olaba, ekyo kye tugenda okusinziirirako kyokola. We have a 7-pronged social economic empowerment program. Briefly, let me go through it. Number 1 is production. We come and ask you, what do you produce in terms of goods or services? Because it is hard for you to get anything if you are producing nothing. So netusinzira ku what you produce to expand it or to amplify or magnify it. That is one. Number 2 is storage. Now this is a service. We have found that agriculture is the main backbone of this country. And because Uganda is an agricultural nation, most people are in produce. However, there is no storage. If you produce something, how do you store it? Do you have cold storage? Do you have barns? Do you have silos? What are they? That is level number 2. Mumpulira bulungi, are we together? Are we together? Number 1, what? Production. Number 2, storage. Number 3, transport. Can you transport it? This vision of Embrace East Africa is big. It is massive. However, it begins here. I know my sister there said she didn't understand. And you are the people we are looking for, who don't know anything or who haven't understood the vision of East Africa. And it's good for you that you have come so that we can labor at least one step to take you. I know it is a long journey to go, but at least we can give you one step. So level 3 is transport. What you produce, if you can produce it, and then store it, can you transport it? That is level 3. Level 4 is value addition, and this is where all the money, most of the money is. How many of you are here in agriculture or in produce? What do you produce, sir? Mushrooms. Wonderful. So you are doing value addition. If you produce the mushrooms and sold them the way they come out of the garden, you would get little. However, if you add value onto what you have produced, you get more. So we have level 4 as value addition. There are so many value addition machinery. We have crushers, distoners, sorters, all those things which add value onto what we produce. Are we together? Level 5 is markets. You can produce, you can store, you can transport, you can even add value, but you have the market. So that we can go out into the entire region and create for you markets where you can sell those things. In the last meeting we had a lady who produces pilipili chechi mu Luzungu. Pepper. Where is she? Is she here? Where is she? Where? Ngasi mulava. Yegwe. Huh? You are the one. Wonderful. We can talk because there is market for piripiri. Now this is for young people. Level 6 is training, because somebody like that one who produces mushrooms, you need some level of training and know-how to produce those mushrooms. I went to Dubai one time and a guy asked me for button mushrooms, because those button mushrooms, they make pharmaceuticals out of them, and he was buying 1 kilo at 150,000 shillings. How much do you sell a kilo here of the ordinary mushrooms? How much? Omulengo kale 15,000. Eri, when those people who want to do pharmaceuticals, ekile emu emitwalo 10 emeka 15. Then finally is microfinance. We found that people want to do all these things, but they lack capital. Those are some of the things we are putting up about Uganda. As we do the ideological mindset change, however, we also do socio-economic empowerment. That I think I've answered 2 or 3 questions there. Yes, government will not do all the work. Even in the PDM, where are the hours? There is something there called private what? Banabega taka batali ba government babayita batya. Private partnerships. Yechiri. Government will not do all this. They have a role to play, and one of the best ways to work is to work with the government, but they will not do everything. There are some things that only government can do, like infrastructure, roads, education, hospitals, but there are some things that me and you also can partner with government and do, like mindset change and awareness campaigns and doing all these things. So finally, wali abuziza wano nti kati ffe mwagala tukole ki? Program yaffe mpanvu. One of the things that I want you to do, even if you can do, I have already got 2 submissions from Nasif and I think from somebody else, is to write down your concept or your proposal or your idea. And I think Madam Daphne is going to talk about something like that at a later stage. And you say, maybe I'm an individual or we are a group and this is what we think. Those things will be pulled up and we are going to do a pyramid. A pyramid. So many at the bottom, and we pick up to the top, and then we are going to do all these benchmarking trips. I have already talked to some people who can help us to do that and go to maybe Nairobi or the East African Secretariat, places like that. So, quizzes, debates, proposals, symposiums, that's what I can do and say for now concerning what has been asked.
My worry is all about the phase of the region. The big man mulwadde. So we need a moment of silence and a prayer to the big man, phase of the region. I will request Ronald Ndorimana, you a good prayer, to send a good prayer to the phase of the region and President of the Republic of Uganda.
Aboluganda mukama yebazibwe. Mukadde waffe Idi tukwaniriza mu kifo kino okutuwa omukisa nojja noyogerako naffe. Kangende straight ku kinsabiddwa kuba ffenna tukimanyi President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni y'omu ku batadde force oba amaanyi okulaba nga East Africa twegatta. Ate nga tumanyi nti kigenda kutugasa kigase ne generation eziddako. So kiba kya buli az'amaanyi bwe tutamurecognizinga ku lunaku nga luno lwe tulookinga chapter y'e Kampala ne tumuteeka mu ssaala zaffe. Amina, haleluya. Katwewombeke tusabe. Mukama Katonda omulungi, tukwebaza olw'obulungi bwo, tukwebaza olw'ekisa kyo. Tukwebaza olw'akaseera kano olw'otukuŋŋaanyiza mu kifo kino. N'otuwa amagezi okukubaganya ebirowoozo. Taata n'otuwa n'amagezi okulowooza ku mukulembeze waffe era atadde amaanyi mu kintu kya East African integration. Taata tumusabira mu kaseera kali mu kuyitamu, oyimirire naye omuweereza Omwoyo Omutukuvu. Taata obeere okuwonyezebwa kwe. Taata bino byonna tubisabye nga tukkiriza nti singa onaaba omuwonyeza kijja kuwa eggwanga lyaffe step mu maaso, naffe ng'omugigi omuto ogukkiriza nti tukyamwetaaga. Taata tujja kwongera okumuganyirwamu era tukusaba akkirize akomewo ku ballot ne 2026 era otuwe obuvumu obumuwagira tumufunemu naye atufunemu era n'eggwanga lino liganyirwemu n'emirembe egirijja. Taata tukusabye ng'era tusabira ne Idi waffe oyongere okumunywereza mu kibuga kino, omuwa amagezi, obuwangazi n'okutegeera naddala nga bw'asazeewo okukola n'abavubuka. Taata omunyweze, abavubuka bongere okumusabira n'okutambula naye ebiseera byonna. Taata tukusabye nga tuyita mu linnya ly'omwana wo Yesu Kristo Mukama waffe. Amiina.